I'm Dr. Dayle Savage, Vanderbilt University's Peabody College. I direct career services for our professional students there. And so today I want to talk to you a little bit about interviewing. Interviewing, there are many, many different kinds of interviews. You might have a telephone interview. You may have a one-on-one interview, a group interview, a case interview, a behavioral interview. So many different kinds of interviews. So where to begin and how to prepare? I think the first thing we need to remember is that you really want to ace the interview. And by ace, I mean you want to share your accomplishments, your competence, and your experiences. So how do you prepare to ace it? Well, let's think about this as storytelling. You basically have 4 distinct stories that you want to tell. Those stories are about your leadership. They are about your ability to manage or deal or resolve conflict. They're about your ability to work on a team, and also they're about your ability to innovate and create. So how do you get those 4 stories nice and succinct? Well, what I typically tell people is that you need to write those stories down. Most stories have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And to think about this in the context of an interview, you really want to soar. And so to soar, you really want to start with, well, what was the situation surrounding my leadership? What were the objectives that we had in this leadership role? What were the accomplishments or actions that we took and the results that happened in the end? You see, soar, situation, objectives, actions, and results. And so when you start to write these stories, and I say literally write them down in black and white, it's very good practice. And then you start reading your story out loud. You become very comfortable with your story of how you were innovative and creative in this particular project, how you led this team through a very dynamic implementation, how you executed on these wonderful results for your organization that enabled you to accomplish great sales promotions in the first 1, 2, 3, 4th quarters. So how do you do this? How do you continue to say and mean and get to the results that you want out of this interview? Because if it's a telephone interview, you want the face-to-face interview, right? And so that telephone interview is usually with a recruiter. Now, the recruiter has basic questions that he or she must ask you to get you through the door. And so you have to be very upfront, very personable, but with this recruiter, you really need to know about that organization. He or she may ask you absolute direct questions such as, well, tell me what you know about XYZ company. So you better do your homework, and you better know what that means, and who they are, and what they're all about, and how their mission, their vision, their values align with your mission, vision, and values. See, you have to sell it from the very, very beginning. Also, it's very important, if you make it to the next interview, how do you engage with that person? How do you involve them in this two-way conversation? Yes, they are interviewing you, but at the same time, let's remember, you're interviewing them. This is all about your organizational fit. So how do you show those accomplishments? How do you show your competence? How do you show your experience? It's through those stories we talked about then that you've practiced. You've practiced them out loud. You hear what you sound like when you answer certain interviewing questions. That's the one thing that I tell students over and over and over again. Any professional I work with, practice aloud. Look in the mirror, see what you look like as you say your response, because an interviewer absolutely can tell if you're sincere or if you're blowing smoke. So let's review. You've made it to this face-to-face interview. Now you need to meet the next group of decision makers. Maybe they're vice presidents, regional directors. They're going to do another interview for you, but now you're going to be Skyped in. It's going to be a video conference. Have you ever done that before? Because you're going to be looking at the camera just as I'm looking at you today. And so what does that mean? Well, you have to visualize these people. You may be able to see them on the screen, but you want to know that you are engaging with them, even if it is from afar. How do you engage them and enlighten them into that you are the absolute best person for this job? Well, the one thing that I know that many people never do in an interview is ask for what they want. And what do you want more than anything? You've made it to this third round of the interview. What do you want? You want the job. Did you ask for the job? Maybe not. Maybe you shook their hand very politely. Thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate being on this video conference with you. All the niceties that might surround your interview. But did you ask them for what you want? Did you literally look them in the eye and say, more than anything else today, I would really want to come and work for you? How might you say that? How might you just look at them very sincerely and say, yes, this is the place that I would like to work with. And these are the people that I know I can be most successful with. I do hope you give me that opportunity. Thank you very much. Now that is how you might end that interview, that job that you've really been working toward. You've done your resume, you did your cover letter, you did your homework, you got all prepared for your interview, and you made it all the way through. What might stop you from being that candidate that gets the job? The ask. Let's ask for that job, okay? At the end of your interview, ace it. Soar, show them that you understand the situation, the objectives, the actions that you took, the results that you had, all of those accomplishments that you yourself have. You bring that to the table, you bring that to the organization, and you will be the candidate that they select. Thanks. I hope this helps.